Alright, so you probably clicked on this video because A, maybe you're curious to know what my life's been like after I dropped out, or B, you're considering dropping out yourself, or 3, you're just doom scrolling and you want some motivation. But for whatever reason you are here for, I promise you this video will be of value to you. So how's it going? My name is Badima and I am a 22-year-old entrepreneur, and I chose to drop out of university in Canada last year about this time. So I just want to make this video to document how life has been like since dropping out. And I wanted to do this full YouTube rewind style thing where it's highly edited and I talk about a bunch of shit and I put a lot of cinematic clips out there. But this video is not that. This video is me talking about when did I drop out, why did I drop out, what have I been doing, and what am I going to do moving forward. So if that sounds like a video that you want to stick around for, then grab your popcorn, sit back, because we're going to get into a very cozy feel of me giving you my raw thoughts of dropping out and life after it. So let's get started. So let's answer the elephant in the room. When did I drop out? I dropped out exactly at the end of my 3 years. So that would have been about June or July. And this was my 3rd year. So at this point, I was living in a house that was 5 minutes or so away from the university with 4 of my close friends. So I'll put up a video of me. This is me when I dropped out. I cleaned my room and I walked away. And yeah, so I dropped out at the end of my 3 years. That's kind of what it is. So, okay, I dropped out after doing 3 years of university. Big whoop. Why did I think it was time to drop out? And what was it that made me feel like I was ready? So up until my whole dropout event, I had still been doing internet money and entrepreneurial projects my whole life. Like this YouTube channel that you are watching this video on, I started when I was like 14, 15 years old. I did a lot of content related things because that was one of the easiest businesses to start with very much no upfront capital. And I transitioned on to doing long-term investing with some of my best plays being Bitcoin and Tesla. Then I went on to do trading, which I still continued even in university. Full-time trading, I continued it. But because my effort was always a second thought effort, my results were always second thought results. I never got major retirement kind of money to be like, yeah, let me pull the trigger. So I always did academics first, school first, and making money as a second, but nothing where I could be like, yeah, I can definitely live like this for the next 20 years of my life. So this was the case until March of 2024, or let me take it a little bit more back. I want to say 2023, November, December is when things started getting serious. This was right after a breakup that I had gone through, and I really wanted to launch this new company because I had seen one of my clients launch this similar type of company and go on to do 7 figures a month. So I got together with a few influencers, 3 to be exact, and by the end of it all, there was one that launched the company with me. So January 2024, about 6 months before I dropped out, I flew to Dubai to get my company incorporated there, as well as to change my Canadian tax residency over to UAE tax residency. So I now actually have an official UAE Emirates card because I am a tax resident there. So I launched the company in March, and about 3-4 months later, which was in July, the company has been doing really good at this point, and I've never talked about revenue numbers ever in the past, so I will share some on this video. We did just shy of 200,000 US dollars in the month of July, and this is when I was like, this is honestly, I couldn't just sit there and be like, yeah, no, this is another side project or another side thought that I'm gonna do. I felt that urge of being like, this is what I'm going to jump all into. So that's when I had a conversation with my parents, and I told them, hey, this is something that I want to pursue now, and I'm going to do this with full effort. And I'm going to have to sacrifice my schooling, so it might be an indefinite gap year. And obviously, me having immigrant parents, they weren't down for this. So they said things like, hey, why don't you finish your degree and then continue your company and things of that nature. And the reality is, the world does not wait for you. So if you have a great idea and you think you should take action on it, and you are now in university or whatever it is that you are now completing, trust me, the market and the world will not wait for you 6 months, even 6 weeks for you to take time off and come back. Someone else who wants it more than you will go out of their way and create a company that will take that market share away from you. So I had to explain to my parents what I am sitting on right now is time sensitive and it's only of value if I take action now. So that was kind of what I had to do, and shout out to my parents, because with enough explanation and with enough pull, I was able to convince them. So I am still grateful that they let me take that leap of faith and it worked out. So okay, great. I launched this company in March 2024. 3-4 months go by. I see great success and I choose to drop out of university. Then what? Well, honestly, right after school, I didn't move in with my parents or anything. So when I left my house that I was living in with my friends, I started traveling right off the bat. Dubai being one of the most frequent spots. Like, I spent my New Year's in Dubai as well. But I went to a few countries last year, and I think I spent close to half of the year outside of Canada. But every time I leave Canada, man, I always miss it. So I shout out Canada. I love Canada so much. But yeah, I did a lot of traveling the last year, and I still was working during this time. A lot of the traveling that I was doing was A, for tax reasons, or B, for expos. So in the industry that I'm in, there's a lot of worldwide expos that happen. So that's for that, to meet vendors and things like that. And then very occasionally, I've even had some business deals that happened in person. So I was in Naples, Florida last year for some business work. So things like that. And right now, this company that I'm talking about that I launched in March is currently going through an unwind process, which basically means we're shutting down the company in the most amicable way, with as few people being affected by it as possible. And I'll have a whole nother video talking about that company in more detail and why I'm even shutting it down if it was such a great success. And right now, all I really do is I'm consulting, and I also have a marketing agency for fintech brands. We specifically specialize in companies that are in the trading space, that are also e-commerce related. And my goal really is to become like the VaynerMedia, like the Gary Vee of the trading niche. And you guys see these big companies like Crypto.com, Binance, Robinhood, Wealthsimple, all these big trading related products like NinjaTrader. And my goal really is to be able to offer services and consult for these brands and offer them an in-house experience working with my company. And that's really like my long-term goal. Right now, my agency and consulting firm has been working with prop firms, brokerages, and crypto exchanges. And we're kind of just staking in our niche of doing what we're doing best. And because I've already had a 7-figure trading company at the age of 21, it makes a lot of my conversations with people easy, because a lot of the people that I deal with are 40, 50 and above even. And when they see a young guy like me who has already done it, who's willing to stay in the game until, you know, you're at the right tables, there's a lot of respect that these older guys tend to have for you. So that's kind of what I've been doing. I got this car last year. I never even posted about it, to be honest. I haven't done anything social media related. What am I going to be doing moving forward? To be honest, I haven't exactly decided. I think my company right now is going great, and I really love the consulting and agency niche in general, because it's a very lean business model. A lot of the IP is really your staff and your experience and knowledge that you bring to the table. So it's a good business to be in, and I get to talk with people who are smarter than me, and I get paid for it. So it's super great. But I personally view the agency business model as a vehicle to generate you cash that you can then redeploy elsewhere. So at this point in time in my life, I'm looking at things like how I can take my agency money, which is slow stress money, and how can I turn it over and roll this money onto a higher leverage project that will bring on more stress, but will also bring on greater yields, right? So I'm just going to continue to keep my eye open for whatever ideas that my brain comes up with. But in the meantime, kind of have a little cadence of what I'm doing right now, servicing my clients. So that's just what I'm going to be doing moving forward. So why even start content now? Because when I've told people that, hey, I'm going to be getting back into content, one of the first reactions that they have is like, why even put yourself in front of the camera when, you know, you can live perfectly fine without ever doing that. And why not just be a ghost kind of thing? I have a few reasons, honestly. And one of the things I want to mention is that we are now living in an attention economy, meaning that money goes so far, but attention goes even further, I want to say. And there's a reason why you see a lot of wealthy individuals, like I'm talking successful entrepreneurs, mayors, artists. Why are they now becoming more content focused? Why are they putting themselves in front of a camera when they used to be more mysterious, when they used to only show up to red carpets? Why are they doing this all now? The reason really is because unlike before, people have become far, far worse at remembering things and are far less captivated. So you have to make an effort, an active effort, to remain on people's timelines if you want to remain relevant. Now you're probably like, okay, but you're not a celebrity. Why do you care about being relevant? Are you planning on selling a course? And to that I say no. I have no plans of selling a course or mastermind or anything in any way, to be honest, to monetize my channel. And I think there are people like this. You can look at like Julian Petrulius, who purely document their entrepreneurship journey and just don't expect anything in value but the connections they make. For me, this is a way, for me to complete the content journey that I left incomplete. So I finally get an opportunity to take this channel from 25K subs to 100K subs. And then 2, I think I get the chance to inspire someone like myself who probably didn't have anyone to look at that looks similar to them. So I now have that opportunity. And really, you know, my selfish takeaway from all of this is the authority standpoint. When you jump on a marketing call or a consulting call with Gary Vee for his marketing company VaynerMedia, you know it's Gary Vee. There's a level of authority that he comes into the call with. And that's kind of what I'm selfishly trying to achieve for myself, which is when I jump on these calls, I don't want to come into this call and say, hey, I'm a 22-year-old and I have XYZ accolades or achievements. I want to come into the call and I already want them to know about me. I already want them to know, oh yeah, this is Badima. He's credible. He has a following of this much. He's worked with these people. And that's really my selfish takeaway from creating content. And I've already rambled on this video. I don't know how long this is, but as you can see, I'm going for a very raw and cinematic vibe. I'm not looking for flashiness or extravagant cuts. Maybe that is what I'll look for. But for the time being, I just want to create something that's raw. And yeah, hopefully you guys see more of it. But this was my ramble.